Welcome to Real Gaijin, unveiling the real Japan, an American expat's inside look. Now it's time for another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts. Summarized podcast.
We're back by popular demand, as a matter of fact. Our very first time on the Real Gaijin AMA podcast to have guests back. It's my pleasure to welcome Derek and Nick back. These guys are from Yuki Homes. You want to quickly say hello?
Hey everyone, Derek.
What's going on? I see Mayor.
All right.
I see one of our clients in there.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome. Hey, by the way, for everyone who's joining from Japan, a special good morning. That's where I am too. It is now 6 o'clock in the morning, and
wow.
the sun is not even out yet down in Kyushu, where I'm going from. So welcome. But the reason why we chose this particular time was to try and get as many people as possible from the English-speaking world that also represents the customer base of Yuki Homes. So that's why we picked this particular time. In any case, we're going to cover what Yuki Homes does in just a second, but two quick housekeeping things. We'll get the recording out within 24 hours if you want to go back and re-listen to a certain section. Also, we'll pull out some of the key takeaways from today's discussion, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that. And then also, please keep in mind, this is a Ask Me Anything session, which means use that chat functionality. We will try to monitor it among the three of us and answer any questions as we go. We're going to try and keep this to an hour, but Derek and Nick are, absolutely willing to stick around like I am to answer every question to the fullest ability until we run out of questions to answer. Okay. All right, guys. Let's go back to just start with Derek, for example. Can you just refresh our collective memory? Who are you guys, and what does Yuki Homes do?
I'm Derek, and that's my partner, Nick. Quick backstory for us is we love Japan for many things at this point, but originally we fell in love with Japan through snowboarding. And we bought our own house because we heard about cheap homes, and you can't buy a ski house anywhere in America for anywhere remotely similar to Japan. So I kind of forced Nick and another buddy to buy a house. I kind of shooed them along. I'm like, let's do this. And in the process of buying it, we learned a lot, and we thought, hey, I'm sure other people would want to do this. And that's kind of how this business was born.
Cool. And so, Nick, where did you buy real estate?
So we bought the home in Otaru. So it's about 45 minutes west of Sapporo. I think up until a couple months ago, I was even pronouncing Sapporo and Otaru completely wrong as well. Still do, but it's just funny.
Why did you choose there?
So a couple of reasons. One being it's pretty close to a couple of our favorite resorts, Sapporo TNA, Kokusai, Kiroro, a couple others. And there's also kind of like a lot of things to do. Derek has a wife, we have friends that don't really love snowboarding. And I think we kind of wanted to pick a town where it wasn't strictly snowboarding only. There's just a lot to do at the canal. And I love hiking up a mountain, looking back and seeing the ocean. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, good. And so I hear you guys were in town for like almost 2 months this year, right?
Yeah, 42, 44 days, something like that.
Oh, okay. That's a long trip.
Tokyo and Sapporo back and forth kind of, but in Japan for a while.
And how was the snow this year?
Unreal. I mean, as good as it gets, at least for the first 3 weeks of our trip. Then we had kind of a dry spell. I think spring came a little bit early this year. There was a couple of dumps after we left that we regretted leaving for, but it was still pretty amazing, and it gave us some more time to work, which was probably needed.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into that in just a second. But Derek, tell us, what exactly is JAPOW?
Well, I guess that's just a good sales term, but really it's just Japan is like the snowiest place in the world. So the resort by our house is actually the snowiest. They claim to be the snowiest resort on earth. They get 820 inches a year on average. So basically winds over Siberia cross the Sea of Japan, and the first mountains they hit are the mountains above our house. So all the moisture they pick up when they cross the Sea of Japan just immediately gets dumped on those mountains. So it's the same thing that happens in Utah from like the lake effect snow, except
Uh,
it's sea effect snow and the sea's bigger. And so it's just just a bigger, better version of that.
and that generally is powder snow?
Yes. So it's very light, um, you know, low water to what's the term they use? Low water ratio.
It's
Oh,
not
They
okay.
actually, like,
Alright.
measure the amount of water in the snow, and Japan has some of the least amount of water in the snow, however they determine those
Mhm.
things.
Got it.
So it's very
Huh.
fluffy.
Well, alright, that sounds good, and then,
Yeah.
so Nick, in general, what's the season for snowboarding and skiing?
Same as North America winter, anywhere from November to March. I mean, you can ski after that, but typically it's not, it's spring skiing at that point. So still fun, but if you're looking for deep powder, it's like January, February are kind of your hot months or cold
Cool.
months.
Okay, great. And so, back to you, Derek. Yuki Homes. So, I mean, this was obviously a big jump from being consumers of
Mhm.
as travelers to jumping into running a business. What exactly, I mean, it sounds like you learned by example by owning your own facility, but what made you take the jump into helping other people by forming a real estate brokerage or at least partnering with a local firm to do that?
I think it was just a lot of timing, like, me and Nick have been friends since college, always just kinda, like, texting each other about business ideas, and my job that I was doing was coming to an end. Um in so we spoke in July of
Yeah.
last year, and that's kind of when my job was ending. So I was like, I need to do something. I was gonna maybe do landscape architecture. I was going to school for that. But this idea popped in my head. I texted Nick and we ran with it. And I would say the main reason, at least for me, is like a lifestyle that I always dreamed of living. This job is allowing me to live that, like we can travel to snowboard. I can work remote. The job is very fun. We're meeting cool people. So, just fit my lifestyle.
That's cool. And by the way, you have a background in managing a series of Airbnbs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not your first rodeo, in other words.
No,
You've
no.
Okay, so you've applied the learning from, is it mainly Vermont area,
Yeah,
the New England?
exactly. It's very similar. It's honestly very similar, like the seasonality. So when you look at like when my house in Vermont is busy, it almost mirrors exactly when my house in Japan would be busy. So there's a lot of things I can apply from Vermont to Japan, and honestly stuff that I've learned in Japan that I can apply to Vermont.
Okay, got it. And then I remember the last time that we spoke back in the summer, Nick in particular, you told us a lot about the research that you guys did to home in on Otaru in particular. Um, so what exactly do you do with your property when you're not there during the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, when we're not there, we actually haven't even had a chance to list it because we've had so many clients kind of staying there back to back since we've left.
Oh,
And then
huh?
we just decide, yeah, it's been kind of like informal stays, which insurance probably isn't great for, but we do want to get it listed soon. And we actually decided that we wanted to have like a little co-working space. So we just kind of hired a contractor. We're blowing out one of the closets. And instead of like shelving, it's kind of a back to back two desk co-working space. And we're running some electrical through there for overhang lights. And I just think it'll be like a differentiator for honestly us when we go there and for people like us that can maybe have slightly extended trips, but also need to work in between. So
Hmm.
that's kind of the idea.
Cool.
Like when I travel, I love to be able to stay for a little bit longer, but I also need to find a co-working space or good Wi-Fi or whatever that may be. So that's the idea.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow. Okay, so that's a good one. So please maybe take a step back, Nick. Tell us exactly Yuki Homes' role, and then how do you partner then with a local property management company, et cetera, and other resources in Japan?
Yeah, no, that's fair. We have partnered in the past with several different companies. Right now, though, And honestly, for the past, I think 7, 8 months, we've stuck entirely with our partner Yoshi. And it's been super fun helping his business grow alongside of our business. And I just think we're very like minded. So it's been going great. And there's no like difference in how we treat any client, which is awesome. At the get go, when we first talked to you, it was, I think we already told you this, but basically our Reddit post went super viral. And that was like really the kickstart to this whole thing. And yeah, I mean, now we have like the customer journey and what onboarding looks like. We have 7 ongoing renovations right now. And
Well,
yeah, it's a lot more of a quote unquote seamless process. And before it was kind of Derek, myself, and whoever the real estate partner was at the time, like flying by the seat of our pants, to be honest. And the business was kind of like outgrowing us. And I think right now, at least, we feel like we have a lot better reign on it. We have several employees now and actual designated roles, which is nice. Um, so I don't know. Did I answer your question? I feel like I kind of took a
yeah,
turn.
no, that's good. But all right, Derek, back to you. So maybe differentiate who does what. So what do you guys do?
Mhm.
What does Yoshi do?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, we could even go into deeper what me and Nick do. So I am more like um, the first client face that they see, and I deal with the clients from like in the purchase process. So I talk to Yoshi and like I help them find homes, and if they want to Airbnb it, I'll help them pick areas that I like. Once they close on the house, with obviously Yoshi is the one doing all the real estate side of it. So he's handling the legal checks. He's a licensed agent. Once they close on the house, Nick takes over and Nick handles the post purchase stuff. And we do that also with Yoshi, but also we have teams all over that. Like, so basically we help people buy anywhere, but we have areas that have become very popular. Otaru, Asahikawa, Myoko, what I would say are like the 3 main areas we've been helping clients. So we have teams there of, back to the first conversation, having your guy. And having your guide is literally the main thing, right? You need
Yeah.
someone you can trust on the ground. And we have those people that we also found through Reddit, which is insane. Um, but like Nick said, we probably have 8 employees. They're all in Japan besides me, Nick, and Grant. And they're helping they all do various things. One's an like we have a few on the ground people. They'll go tour homes, they'll talk to renovators, they'll check in on renovations, get us progress photos. They'll be our emergency contact for Airbnbs, that whole thing. Then we have a few people that work alongside me and Nick, sort of assistants for us. And then we also have an interior designer. She's based in Tokyo, and you can use her services if you want, and she's awesome. Nick works with her a lot more, so Nick can tell you a lot more about her exact role. But yeah, so it's basically, a lot of people all over Japan that we trust that without them, this business would definitely not exist.
So yeah, Nick. So tell us a little bit about that. Most of your clients then buy an older home, not necessarily an Akiya, which means abandoned, but at least older. And then I like how you guys have been totally upfront about how much everything costs and, no bullshit basically, which is
Mhm.
different from a lot of other places. What exactly do most of your clients do in terms of reforming or remodeling their homes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, it varies quite a bit. We recently closed on land in Niseko, and there's an entire family. The father's an architect, and he's going to design the whole place. So that's going to be a unique, different project that isn't really typical. Um, but to tell you kind of, I guess, the average client path, or especially someone who wants to do it a little bit like us, where they do plan on being there for maybe 2 weeks a month in the winter, but also want to rent it and have some sort of residual income. Um, there's the sales process where maybe they're coming to us from Instagram, whatever. Derek and I are both still like front running all those sales calls. We're training some of our team members, but it's fun to meet all these different people of different walks of life from different countries. So that's still at least not burnt out yet from that. And really, it depends. I mean, I think the average investment varies between 80,000 and 120,000. So the house can be anywhere from 20 to 60. But then with the renovations, I feel like most of the total all-in cost does come out to be about that if you're looking for a similar deal to us. I would say on the low range, 60,000 is probably if you wanna actually put this thing on Airbnb and list it for rent, that's typical. Um, Renovations right now, they're averaging 2 to 4 months, so closing on your house takes up to 90 days. It's definitely not a quick process. Renovations generally pretty quick. We get 2, sometimes 3 quotes so that the client can pick, like, what kinda style, pricing, they wanna do, and then during that process, that's kinda when I would bring on Hana, our interior designer, if they want that, right? And yeah, like you said, all of our, uh, phases are I would like to call them productized, so if you want the interior design, it's this much, and we're just very upfront with the pricing. That's what I wish I had kind of going into this. And then, yeah, after that, it's another probably 3 to 6 months of, like, the fire inspection stuff, staging the house. We sometimes do furniture selection, especially if the client's remote, and we'll furnish the place. We can have some of our guys go, go on furniture, and yeah, I mean, then we just get it listed, get some professional photography depending on the area. We work with a couple different people, and yeah, we basically deal with client communications from there, and then the client can just go onto their website, not to, like, endorse tools on here, but Guesty lets you kinda have your own login, and then you can black out the dates on the calendar, so it's super easy. They don't even really have to tell us, but we're pretty close with all of our clients, so that's kinda
That's
how.
great. And then,
Yeah.
maybe, all right, back to you, Derek. On the front end, you have a new tool, right, for finding properties? It's almost like Zillow in
Yeah.
English, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think when we spoke last time, we were like just in the process of like getting it sorted. So yeah, basically it scrapes all the data from Japanese sites and puts it in a familiar format. And um, it's honestly been like a game changer, like our business, not even just for our clients, but for me as well. So we built in a zoning tool. So Japan zoning is based federally, like the federal government sets all 12 zones. So it's very easy to get that data. And then according to that data, you can say, okay, this home is in the hotel zone or this home is in the minpaku zone. And you can at least have a first step check of, okay, I like this house. I want to Airbnb it. So it needs to be in this zone. We always call the local government and like confirm for sure before anybody moves forward. But it's a great way to get a first check. And from the hotel zone side, the hotel zone's easy because the federal government sets it. I would say it's accurate like 99 out of 100 times. The minpaku is different because each local municipality can change it and sometimes we can't find that data. So that one is like much less. I trust that one much less. But either way, we confirm with the local government. And
That's
I see
great.
someone asked a question. There's no remote. Is there remote home viewings? Yes. So we do that. We do tour
Yeah.
homes for people remotely.
Yeah, that's terrific. And hey, by the way, I'm glad you mentioned the difference. Well, first of all, maybe you could explain what does the regulatory designation hotel usage versus minpaku, what does minpaku mean, for example, and what is the
Okay.
implication there?
Yeah. So in 2017, when Airbnb blew up, the government passed a Minpaku regulation, which was you're restricted to 180 days of renting in this zone. Each local municipality was allowed to further regulate that however they wanted. Some completely outright banned it. Some people had special restrictions, like, for example, Otaru. If you're in the Minpaku only zone, you can only rent on Saturdays. So it's essentially useless. So a lot of Hokkaidos like that. That is a Hokkaido law, and the towns could opt in or opt out. So a lot of towns opted in. So the Ryokan or hotel zone is set by the federal government. It's a very old law, and the local municipalities don't change or regulate that. And what that does is you get a hotel license, just like Appa hotels, and you can rent anytime you want. Now there's stricter code upgrades to do that. You have to get exit signs, and you have to have earthquake proof lighting. You have to have X amount of fire extinguishers, stuff that we handle and our renovators are aware of now. So they know exactly what to do. But it is definitely a longer process, but we always push people to get that if they want to rent, because minpaku is always changing and you're limited to begin with. So,
Okay.
who
And
knows
then
if
for
the
the
local
hotel,
government will come in and change minpaku is what, you know.
well, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. But first, on the hotel side, there's no restriction that you have to be on site in order to rent it out, the space out as a hotel.
So you have to have someone within a 10-minute drive as an emergency contact.
Ah, all
Yeah.
right. Okay. And then, so yeah, you just alluded to this a second ago, but there has been a lot in the news about over tourism in certain spots, particularly in the Niseko area. What is the implication of all that relative to these regulatory restrictions?
Yeah, I think it's what we do is we tell people to avoid minpaku for that reason, because if all like the rhetoric is around minpaku, none of
Mhm.
it is around Ryokan licensing. And I think the problem is that a lot of people were illegally listing these minpaku. So they set up like a government task force to go around and check who's who's listing their homes without a license illegally. And I think that's a good thing. I think these illegal ones should be gone, because we're out here doing the work to do it right. And there's a lot that goes into it aside from even the licensing. Like, our guys on the ground, they go to every house that we would rent, they go introduce themselves to the neighbors, they bring gifts, they give their phone number, and like we tell them, like, if anyone is bothering you guys, we will remove them from the house. And we write in our house, you have to respect the neighbors, you have to respect nighttime hours, you can't be loud, like, this is not a party house.
Mhm.
So we're just trying to make sure we're doing everything the right way by the community. And I think people who don't do that, they shouldn't be doing it.
That is terrific. And so, Nick, back to you. Maybe more of a finance question, but like, do you provide yields or that kind of financial information to people, or is it mainly just short-term rental, meaning them?
No,
No.
I mean, I usually preface or end most of my financial advice with I'm not a financial advisor. But and if you're saying yields, meaning like return on investment, we do provide like in different areas. We actually just built out like a 30-page investment guide for Otaru specifically. We have a couple that we're building out right now for other towns. And yeah, we'll provide like comparables. We just call them comps. So we'll build a comp sheet if a client's like, hey, I really want this house, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to need to put into it or how much I might get out of it. Can you find some comparable rents or rentals that I can look at to just see like what one, my competition is, and two, like what my house might yield in the future. So that's basically just from a cash flow standpoint. And then we really don't sell like equity increase or growth
Mm,
because it is rare and has been historically rare. Obviously, Niseko, like you've been talking about, is an outlier.
mm.
Um, but with the Shinkansen construction plans and all that, we don't know. I mean, there's definitely a reason why we're also investing in some of these towns. So, that's like the underlying bonus, I think, is a good way to think about it. If it happens, it happens.
That is very useful information. And I do remember, Nick, that you guys have also been very upfront from the beginning that to your clients, I believe this is how you position this, is don't do this for, expectations of massive price appreciation in the future.
Mhm.
That's probably not going to happen. Do this because you like to go skiing or snowboarding. And on the side, you want to get some rental income. Is that generally what the advice you give?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we still position it as a lifestyle investment is kind of the term we use, and I think a lot of people in the industry use for stuff like this. It's funny. I mean, we started with skiing and snowboarding, but there's people who travel to Tokyo for fashion. There's people who travel to Nara for drifting. Actually, is really popular. We're kind of like breaking into that whole industry. So it's just fun to know all the different reasons people go to Japan, and I'm still learning new ones all the time. Um, and yeah, then if we can help out people in those markets, it's kinda just good for our business and good for us as well, which is nice.
That's good. So then, Derek, back to you. Maybe on up and coming locations that you guys are going to focus on in the future besides Hokkaido.
Mhm.
What can you tell us?
Um, we're specifically like, I guess I'll tell you what we're specifically interested in is, Miyazaki, because we
Mm,
like to surf, so we're planning a surf trip down there this fall. Um, so that's one place that where we just like it because the surf's good, it's tropical, like, it seems like a fun place, so we're gonna go for our own, like, personal reasons. I don't know if, like, that market has the same potential as these ski markets. I think the ski markets, how I would set it up when I talk to people is the skiing in Japan is really unique. It's like world class, like some of the best skiing in the whole world. And it's the only place in the world that has world class skiing that is affordable. So, will that last forever? I don't know. It's like we are directly seeing a massive increase in interest just from when we spoke to you to July to now. Um, like Otaru is a great example. Homes could sit on the market for 2 months. Homes are getting bought within a week or two in Otaru now. So it is changing drastically. Now, does that mean prices are going to rise? Is this maybe just a winter bump because everyone is kind of hyped about the skiing because they just got back? Maybe, but I don't think there's anything like that in Japan outside of ski towns. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Just
so
add, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
just add on top of that, like areas 10 to 15 years ago, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, Indo, Chopu in the Pacific 20 years ago. These are all world-class waves, and they were super cheap 15, 20
mm,
years ago. And I just don't know if there's enough investment in these small towns, especially in the surf regions. I mean, I'm like really dying to go up to this town or area called Sendai. It's north of Tokyo, world-class waves when the season's right, but again, it's quite rural, and I think the ski towns are a little bit easier to have a lot of investment in one location, whereas Japan is a huge coast. The whole island is basically a coast, so it's just a lot harder, I think, to focus on specific areas there, but Chiba is obviously one of the most famous surf
yeah.
locations there, um, but again, I mean, no knock on it, but it's not as high performance surfing as some of the waves that I've seen in Miyazaki and Sendai. It's more like longboard style waves for the most part. Um, so I think surfers prefer a different wide range of waves, and snowboarders, like, if the snow is great, it's pretty great. Um, I don't know.
Well,
I think,
uh,
yeah, the level
first of all,
there is different.
I'm not a surfer, but I know a lot of surfers, and I'll introduce you. But I live near where you're headed, so we'll have to
We got to hang
catch up
out.
when you get there. Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. I'll come down. And but your Miyazaki is a pretty good spot for surfing, and
Yeah.
it attracts people from all over the world already, and it's also really inexpensive. So I mean, it's one of the most frugal lifestyle locations in Japan. So you'll probably enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah. Right.
Good. It's also good for baseball, by the way. That's where all the spring training happens.
Sure.
Yeah,
I love
good.
baseball,
All
so
right.
that's awesome.
Oh, well, all right. They combined two birds with one stone. So, where is your business heading? And by the way, quick shout out to everybody who's listening. If you've got a question or comment, please put it in the chat. But where is Yuki Homes heading in the future?
Nick, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've got a lot of different opportunities. I think for now, I mean, like Derek said, it's really not even been 2 full years of like running with gas. So I would like to just get a really good handle on all of this. I think by the end of 2026, or at least for the winter season, we're going to have anywhere from 5 to 10 Airbnbs ready to go.
Wow.
So not just listing those on Airbnb, but seeing what our marketing channels can do in terms of like increasing from average booking nights per
Mm,
year to, with Yuki Homes, you could book X percentage more. Who knows? I mean,
mm,
these are all things that we want to be able to test. And I think as far as like 2027 is probably as far as I can see, and it's looking bright. We're not just a home finding company; we're also becoming a renovations company, and
mm.
it's it's really fun. So we've had conversations with different companies that I don't really think are worth talking about yet, but potential partnerships upcoming. And yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. We kind of started as a content company and we really just help people find homes. And now we're kind of white glove service, taking you through the whole buy,
Mm.
renovate, rent process. And right now, I think we're the only company in Japan doing it. So I don't know, it's kind of like a green slate or a white slate. So we're kind of seeing where as far as we can go and where we might be limited and stuff like that.
Okay. And hey, by the way, Nick, you alluded earlier about the renovation that you've got underway up in Hokkaido to make the property sort of like into a mini WeWork location, so your clients can not only enjoy their time on a holiday, but they can actually get some work done at home too. Tell us more about like the clients' needs that you're hearing. Well, who are your typical clients, and what do they want?
Yeah. So for our clients, I'm going to talk specifically about people buying homes, renovating homes, and then renting homes, because you could also talk about like Airbnb guests and like Western guests in the
Mm,
winter, more local guests in the summer. But as far as the Yuki Homes client needs, I think a lot of it is really similar to what we've been talking about. It's, hey, I want to be able to go to Japan whenever I want. I want to be comfortable and I don't want to feel like it's just burning a hole in my pocket while I'm not there. And
mm,
in order to do that, there's a level of renovation that we recommend. And, a lot of our clients start to have a lot of fun with it. I mean, even if the husband is the snowboarder and he's kind of getting this whole process started, I've noticed, once the interior design or like the color conversations start to come up, then the wife's more interested. And we just start to have more fun with it. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't think their needs are much more than that. If you have like, I guess, more detailed question, I could probably give you a more detailed answer. But Western heating, like for example, a lot of these houses have one propane heater in the center of the house, and if the door's not open in the bedroom, it gets freezing for me.
yeah.
Um, and I live in San Diego, so that's good. But we put 5 split unit heaters in all the bedrooms, and that's the kind of thing that I think
Mm.
I would call a need most of the time.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Derek, I mean, you told us last time about how a key feature of homes in Hokkaido is a place outside to dump snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that from, well, you listened to another interview I did with who rents out an apartment
Mhm.
in the middle of Sapporo. And yeah, apparently parking and managing snow removal is a big issue up in Hokkaido.
Big issue for sure. Where your snow falls, like our neighbor, our snow off our garage fell and slid onto her property. And yeah, she wasn't happy about that. We shoveled her house every day for her, so by the end of the trip, she loved us, but at first, she was not happy. She was apparently, we have, like, snakes in our grass in the summer, and then there was snow falling on her property in the winter, and so we're taking care of the snakes too. We're gonna get rid of all those snakes, but, back to back to Nick's q your question that you asked Nick,
Yeah,
where, like, you see where would you see Yuki Homes in a few years? And
yes.
one of the other things that besides, sorting out our systems and helping our clients out, one thing that we really want to do, we're not going to say what it is, but we want to invest in Otaru in the community, and we're working on something now. We've met this local kid. He's a professional snowboarder, a professional skier, born and
Wow.
raised in Sapporo, and he runs his own thing, and he's really successful at it, and he wants to expand this thing that hopefully we can do very soon. Um, yeah, once we have it locked in, I'll be happy to explain more. But it's just we want to do something for the community more than a lot of the flack that we catch. To be completely honest, is that we're selling homes to absentee people, and
Mm,
I understand that take. Like I don't no, like, I don't have all the solutions to the problem of empty homes in Japan. And I think morally, like, I wouldn't be doing something that I thought was bad. And I think selling these homes is a good thing because renovators are getting jobs, cleaners are getting jobs, all our employees are on the ground. Like we've created a lot of jobs in Japan already, and I like that excites me. But we want to do more for the community too. So that's something we're trying to do is invest in Otaru specifically, just because we love it, we're familiar with it. So yeah, that's another thing I see for us for sure.
That's terrific. And how have you reached out to like local community leaders? Do they know you exist and that is your plan?
Yeah, so we wanna, like, just open a business in the middle of the city, so we're just kinda waiting. We have the business idea, and we want it to be a standard business, but then, like, we wanna do something that will bring people together and, like, have local events and have a space where people can go and hang out and talk and maybe exchange ideas, because I know that a lack of jobs in these areas is what keeps the kids from leaving, so, like, maybe we can create a space where people can come up with business ideas and like make them happen in Otaru so that there is jobs for people, you know?
That's great.
I don't know if it'll work, but we're trying we're gonna try.
Yeah, and I mean,
Ah,
the only thing we have talked about with the local municipality is I've asked them through other people that speak a lot better Japanese than I do, like, what can we do to invest in the city? And, we offered to buy snow blowers and stuff like that. But in reality, their biggest issue is that the kids who they would pay to do some of these jobs aren't there. So,
hmm,
more of a systemic problem. So if we can come up with more solutions to give these kids reasons to stay in some of these rural towns, I think, I'm not, I guess I do have an economics degree, but I'm not an economist and I don't have all the answers. And I think that is one way to potentially get these kids to stay is to create more jobs in these towns.
that sounds good. Hey, speaking of jobs, I am somewhat aware of the fact that there seems to be like a whole community, it's loosely knit together, but of people that work in the wintertime at the ski resorts up in Hokkaido, and then they relocate during other times of the year to go down to like um, beach resorts down in Okinawa, and they travel back and forth. And there's some people that have literally been doing this for decades.
Mhm.
You come across these people?
Lifties. No,
Oh,
season workers.
there's a word for it. Okay,
I get what you're
I
saying.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're looking for people or trying to help people that want to stay in their local community and have a job. That makes sense.
Yeah, just like a place to exchange ideas is kind of what we wanna
Hmm.
build. Like a place you can come, you can work, you can exchange ideas, you know, and then maybe people will have more ideas that will be built in Otaru and that keep people there. That's really the best that we can come up with.
No,
It's
that's pretty good.
who knows what
Yeah,
this I don't have this clearly it's a very serious problem that you need a lot of minds to try and fix, and
yeah,
maybe we can make one small difference in the town that we're in, you know?
sure. And then, in terms of the future of Yuki Homes, of course, the name Yuki means snow, but it sounds like you're already branching out beyond the traditional snow area. Like you mentioned Nara, for example, for drifting. Is geographic expansion like beyond Hokkaido? You've already talked about Miyazaki and the Kyushu area.
Mhm.
Is surfing maybe like, for example, the next big thing that you're going to focus on?
I mean, I think in a lot of ways we do want to work with our clients. And if someone wants to buy a house, for example, we have a client buying a house in Kuruizawa, and
Hmm,
it's our first client buying there. And we're just pretty transparent. Like, we're going to build a team right next to you there. And obviously, it's not a full time job if it's one location, but we do have a lot of different connections in different localities where we're working to basically build the business alongside the client. And as long as we're not hiding anything, I feel okay doing it. We have sold one or two properties in Chiba. We've sold one, or I think we're making offers on a few in Miyazaki now, not for us, but for clients. Uh,
Mhm.
Kanazawa, we've sold a home there, two homes there, I think. So different locations, definitely. But I would say, our resources are more heavily skewed in Hokkaido and then the Myoko kind of
yeah.
outside of Nagano region. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then in terms of the properties themselves, you're pretty much going to continue to focus on like standalone homes as opposed to an apartment building that
Yeah,
an investor could then rent out.
I think we've only helped one client buy an apartment. Um, Most of our clients are at some level interested in doing short-term rentals, and it's just another kind of piece of red tape when you're in an apartment complex because
Yeah.
the apartment could have its own set of rules and stuff like
Mm.
that. Yeah. Another thing that I am a little bit afraid of is how many people actually live in, say, like a 40-unit apartment complex. Maybe only 10 of the units are occupied. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I would steer clear of that personally. So I think maybe some of that resonates with clients too.
Well, I think your intuitive sense about that is spot on, and it's a big issue here. But the older apartments in particular have a problem with, the aging population of the residents, and then unfortunately, maintenance is not always the best. On the other hand, a pretty lucrative way of doing it would be expensive. Would be to build from scratch and build a facility that you could rent out multiple rooms, like a 2 LDK, for example, series. But then, that's a large upfront
Right.
investment. Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like your sweet spot is mainly still going to be in the ski resort area, but you're branching out into surfing and as needed based on your clients' requests in other spots like Karuizawa. Maybe another one to think about would be Izu. That's a popular spot too.
I was there this summer. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
It was so nice.
Yeah. Well, and also where I am is famous for hot springs, lots of hot springs in Beppu area. Very good. And then, so tell us, well, first of all, we should probably check and thank you guys for checking while we're speaking on questions. But if anyone has a question, please put that in the chat because this isn't Ask Me any section, anything objective here. So by the way, last time you told us a little bit about what you charge up front. Like, maybe back to you, Nick. I'm sorry, Derek, because you're doing the upfront part. What is the proposal? So if you got a brand new client to prospect, what do you tell them, and how much does your service cost?
Yeah, so we charge 4,900. I was gonna say 4,950. It's 4,900. And we take 2,450 upfront and 2,450 when you close. And, USD. And the reason we
Yeah.
do that, a lot of people understandably are like, "Hey, I bought a home in the US. Like, I don't pay anyone a fee outside of closing costs." And that's totally understandable. The reason we do that is because these homes are so cheap that our agent makes 3% on these home sales. So like he has no incentive to go and sell these homes and to become like from our experience, um, doing this for 2 years now, the cheaper the home, the more work it is for our agent by far. The cheaper homes just come with a lot more issues and they usually, for whatever reason, they're there's a lot more work in sourcing these homes because it's hard to find a decent one. So like for a client who wants a cheap home, we can tour 15 homes before we find one that's like solid. Because we're not going to sell someone a home. Like we had a client the other day, we toured a home for them and there was the slope was so bad that a nail was rolling down the floor in the video we sent. And of course, like that's not something I've ever hide from anyone. I like straight up said to her, like, do not buy this house. We're not trying to shoo people to the finish line. We want them to have a good house. Um,
Mm,
so we charge the fee because we have to pay people to go tour the homes and we pay our
yeah.
agent extra money to translate because he's not legally allowed to take more money. So the way we do that is he's a translator. So he gets paid a
Yeah.
fair amount as a translator. Um,
And it's
so
probably
that's
worth
our fee.
saying that we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot because the majority of our clients want us to help them with the renovations and with the rental. So
Mm,
it really is
mm,
not incentivizing to us to buy a home that's just not going to work either.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Hey, glad you brought that up, Nick. So, what is the process for listing a property on Airbnb or VRBO or where any other site that is commonly used?
Yeah. I mean, basically, you get the house fully ready. You renovate it, you put furniture in it, and you really can't do much until the house is like almost move-in ready. Um, Obviously, while renovating, if we are doing a renovation, we try to build the fire code upgrades in if they're gonna plan on renting. And then once everything's in there, for example, you have to have, like, fireproof rugs and all that good stuff. You get the fire inspector in, you and our real estate team over there manages the majority of this because not all of them speak English. We're working with different municipalities all the time. Um, and yeah, it's just kinda like a timeline/project management type of thing. Takes 2 to 3 months really once the house is furnished, and you get
Mm.
the fire inspection team, you get the health inspection team out there, and there's paperwork. Sometimes they can mail it, a lot of times they fax it, sometimes they need to mail it or walk it in person. Um, and I'm sure you've dealt with some of the arduous processes there, and basically you get a stamp, and it's not technically a stamp for the owner of the house, it's a stamp for the property, and the property is then licensed to be Ryokan eligible or hotel licensed. And at that point,
Okay.
photography, it works the
Ah,
same anywhere in the world. Photography, list it, and then, yeah, market it through Yuki Homes, through Guesty, and through any of the channels people use, Rakuten Travel, Google Travel,
mm.
Airbnb, VRBO. Yeah.
And are most of the clients that are short-term rental users, are these foreigners or are they Japanese people or both?
The renters, as in the guests of the houses, I would
Yes.
say foreigners, 90%, 85% in the winter, and then in the summer, especially like in Otaru or Hokkaido,
Mm.
I would say it's closer to 60%, nationals or people who live in
Oh, huh. That's interesting. Okay. And then,
beating the heat because Tokyo gets so hot.
yes, exactly. Well, right. Hokkaido's a prime location in the summertime for that,
Mhm.
to escape the heat. You're right. I know you guys met Lisa in Sapporo, who interviewed not too long ago, who's renting this apartment in the middle of Sapporo
Mhm.
city.
Yeah.
And she mentioned another challenge, and she works with a property management company in order to clean the apartment. And I imagine one of the services that your group of companies, affiliated companies, provides would be all of the cleaning necessary.
Yeah, exactly. Our cleaning company that we use primarily in the Sapporo area, they do everything from a deep clean. They bring spare toothbrushes. They actually use all of their own linens.
They're
So
the best.
we really didn't even need to buy sheets for our beds, but we have spares now. Um, they provide towels, hair products, shampoo,
The
conditioner.
best.
Yeah.
So much better than a Vermont cleaner. It's
Both
ins
seasons.
it's insane. They're so good, and they do everything. They stock everything. Like, it's a full service, so it's really nice.
Yeah, our property actually is the first one that they're doing. It's the furthest one from Sapporo that they're doing because we kind of told them about our company and yeah, I think they're really excited about kind of partnering and moving forward. So
Mm.
yeah, it's been really nice. And then we have the people on the ground in emergency scenarios, but really one hasn't happened yet. But we just like to be prepared.
That's great. Yeah, well, Lisa had mentioned that if you're trying to do this all by yourself, sometime without the aid of a property management company, it's virtually impossible because, first of
Yeah.
all, they don't have any bandwidth to handle all the demand. But it sounds like you guys have all of the necessary ancillary businesses to support all the services, and I'm sure a provider of services like that would want to work with you guys in particular
Yeah.
because you present so many properties. Okay,
Right.
good, great. Well, this has been terrific, and I don't know. I haven't been checking the questions, so have
Yeah,
you
I
guys
see a
been looking?
question from, Ray. He said, "With local Japanese resistance to over-tourism, um, and related high prices in the news, besides helping with the issue, have you experienced any pushback?" Um, so definitely, for sure, there's been pushback, but it's generally on the internet. The in-person, we haven't had any person pushback, like, in person, like the people we've met in Otaru specifically. Um, prices are rising in very specific areas, right? Tokyo, Sapporo, Fukuoka, Osaka, Kyoto. Those prices are rising. Outside of those areas, nothing is really rising generally. Like you can make a safe bet that 90% of towns, according to the Japanese government data, are not rising. Now, obviously, there's outliers like we talked about ski areas, Niseko, Hakuba, Nozawa, Onsen. Those are rising. But generally, these places where people are buying, Otaru as an example, the population right now is 100,000 people. In the year 2050 or 2030, what was the stat, Nick? It's going to be halved. So
From
this town,
105,000
so
to 55,000.
Well,
so this town, it's Otaru has one of the worst population graphs in Japan. So a town like Otaru, they need people. So like these homes are going to sit vacant. They're going to become hazards because there's not even, all right, even if you didn't want anyone to buy these homes, if the government decided that, how would they clean up these homes? That's like a whole nother issue of they're just going to become dangerous. So the people that we've spoken to on the ground, to answer your question, have been very receptive to what we're doing, but they're very, they have an idea of how they want us to do it. Like when we speak to Japanese people at bars, at coffee shops, they're like, oh, it's great that you guys are doing this, but you need to do it this way. And we're trying to do it that way. We're trying to do it the right way. We're trying to, like, these illegal listings, right? That's something they have a huge problem with. We're not doing anything illegal. Treating the neighbors correct, making sure your neighbors, like, if they're being bothered, we're handling it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. We try and promote local like artists and stuff in our Airbnbs. We're trying to do like a QR code thing where you can give us your art, put your QR code on it, and then someone could buy it. Just stuff like that. We're trying to do what we can to support the local community. And
That's
so
great.
I hope that answers your question, Ray.
That's great.
Yes. One looks like he wants a question answered. Possibility of doing a reverse mortgage to get the cash to start an Airbnb. So for non-residents without Japanese
I
bank.
think Jim is a resident because I've spoken to him.
Oh, okay.
He might answer, but I think it's the person who emailed me.
Go ahead. You want to take that?
I don't know the answer. I told him we've never helped anyone with a reverse mortgage. I'm sure our partner Yoshi could answer that question better.
Yeah, most of our clients are not at the advantage of having a Japanese bank account or residency status. So there's really no navigating that. Typically, it's just all cash deals. I would say, though, I don't know. I don't have a ton of experience with reverse mortgages, but if you can get a mortgage, the interest rate is so low compared to at least where we live that I think it's a great idea if it's possible. Harder to get on these Akias, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But yeah, Jim, it's
Thank you
not
for
something we
taking-
deal with because our clients are all foreign.
Okay, let's see here. Maybe back to Derek. So we've got another question. I'm not looking for a home in Hokkaido, but interested in Kyoto and Nara. Can Yuki Homes help with those areas? And not necessarily right in the middle of Nara and Kyoto, but kind of like on the outskirts.
Yeah, so our partner Yoshi is actually from Osaka. He lives in Tokyo now, but we've helped numerous clients in the Osaka, Kyoto, Nara area. We're actually helping a client in Kyoto right now. We'll help people anywhere. Like Nick said, Yoshi is like a superstar and he travels anywhere. He's literally been to every single part of Japan over the last 6 months. So he will go anywhere. The one caveat, like Nick said, is if it's an area we haven't been and you want us to do property management, then we just have to build the team. But it's something we are willing to do. We'll find people that can help take care of, in-person property management. But from a tax, utility, homeowners insurance standpoint, we can help people anywhere immediately. So that stuff is, that's easy. We've done that for pretty much every client.
That sounds like a definite yes. That's great. Hey, another question. This is a tough one. Is there a location that combines with surf and snow, like surf and turf here? I mean, maybe Sendai, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably your best bet, that general area. I am not a big fan of driving 2 hours to either. I'd rather pick one personally.
Mm,
I mean,
Mhm.
in
mhm.
San Diego, I can get to Big Bear in 2.5 hours, but it's not great snow. Um,
Uh,
so I yes, it's possible if you're willing to drive, basically.
Otaru is
okay.
not Otaru is, like,
Yeah.
kind of the one spot where it's close, but it's winter swell, so, like, the
Yeah.
only time you can surf is when you're in a 6'5" and it's cold.
If you're a crazy animal, then yes, you you can do that.
The one thing I always tell people, that is a really common question we get, and the way I explain it to them is the best snowboarding in Japan is on the Sea of Japan side because that
Mm,
is the snow machine, that's like I said, the winds over the Sea of Japan. The best surfing is on the Pacific side because that's where the typhoons come, and there's longer fetch, so it's hard to get both.
mm, okay. Got it. Hey, we have another question. This is a long one. With local Japanese resistance to overtourism and related higher prices in the news, besides helping with the Akia issue, have you experienced any pushback, and how do you navigate with your business? Well, you've already addressed some of that, but maybe a little bit further.
Yeah, I think I answered that one. Should I do it again?
Yeah, well, a little bit more about, well, the giving back to the community is probably a
Yeah.
key takeaway, but any
Yeah.
further thoughts?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just asking local people what they want us how they want us to do this business, right? And listening to what they say, right? This
Yeah, I
is
mean, in
where
all
they'd live
honesty,
forever.
we talk to a lot of people. I mean, we're both just generally social, and we will talk to the bartender about what they think of our business. And, if they're not interested, we don't really push on it, but we are generally looking for feedback at all times, both from clients and from locals. We've actually become pretty good friends with a guy named Ken. He runs the marketing department for Niseko Mountain Resort. And
Uh,
he's been a huge promoter and kind of given us more confidence in, feeling good about what we're doing. And his team is all pretty happy that it's happening. And they're even starting to send overflow visitors for Niseko to Otaru. And now there's a shuttle going from Otaru to Niseko, and they're doing it with other areas as well. But yeah, kind of an interesting little
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, you guys have always been, like, from when we talked last time, totally upfront about being realistic about what to expect, how much this could cost, and I can see that culture would blend over and actually go very well with what the local communities want. Here's another question. I think the answer you've already given, but I'm looking for a home to live in, and I'm not looking to rent my home. Are there services to keep the property up while I am away?
Yeah, we do exactly that. I mean, we have it's basically a monthly plan. I mean, obviously, depending on where you are, we might have to work with you, but it's like 500 ish is usually the amount that we estimate. And we go to the house once a month, sometimes twice. We'll take pictures of everything, make sure there's no dead rats anywhere, make sure the toilet's flush, lights turn on. And then if you're going to visit, we do like an owner visit prep and just kind of get it all ready. But yeah, we have no problem doing that. And we do that for several clients.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey, here's another financial one, maybe back to you, Nick. So, would you recommend a personal name ownership or setting up your own, the equivalent of an LLC, so GK or KK set up in Japan? Also, does your management services exist in or near Miyoko?
Was that you, Mark, or is that another Mark?
Yeah, that's another mark. I wasn't planting that one. That's somebody
That's
else.
a good plan. So we actually try not to give like hard and fast advice about this, but Derek, myself, and a friend own our property. So we opened an
Hmm,
LLC in the US. So technically, our property is owned by that US entity. If you have the ability to get a GK or a KK set up, I think it's safe and a fine option. If you are going to be the only one that owns it and you don't plan on buying any more, it's just a pass through entity anyway, especially if it is
right.
just an LLC. So there's really no advantage. But splitting up ownership is probably the number one reason I would recommend setting up an entity outside of just personal ownership, or if you plan on having like a portfolio of assets.
That sounds like a very official answer. That sounds very good. All right.
But I am not a financial advisor.
Oh, really? Okay. And then, okay, so back to you, Derek. The second part of the question was, do you provide property management services in or around Myoko?
Yes, that's definitely one of the other hotspots that we have teams built out already.
Okay, great. This question is up for grabs. Either one of you. Are the
That's our
brown bears
client.
still running wild in the Otaru area?
Mary's just messing with us.
I never saw one. I was
I-
hoping I would see a
Oh,
brown bear,
okay.
but we didn't see one. So I think maybe the news is overhyping it just a touch.
But there is a historical relic that we're actually writing a blog on here soon. There's a TV that gets buried in the snow every year in the winter and then resurfaces when the snow melts. And supposedly it's been for over 25 years.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So it's hibernating. All right, very good. Well, hey, by the way, you guys probably know this, but as far as your future plans to head down to Miyazaki, there are no bears left in Japan, apparently, in Kyushu.
Oh, really?
But the bear issue, I mean, we're joking about it. It is, as you probably have heard,
Yeah.
not in the midst of winter while hibernating season is underway, but during the rest of the year, it's become a pretty major issue here.
And that's they're brown bears, right? So they're grizzly bears.
Well, yeah, I think in Hokkaido, I'm not an expert on that. There are black bears, brown bears, anyway, different parts of Japan. But other than Kyushu, it's been pretty severe. Okay, very good. Let's see here. We're now at an hour. So thank you. A lot of questions today. Very good questions, too. So thank you for participating, everyone. We've got quite a number of people online, which is exciting. I'll let these two gentlemen say the last few words, but just as a quick reminder, within 24 hours, we'll get the recording out. And then I'm sure, we didn't even cover this whole topic, but these guys are going wild on Instagram. I mean, just their accounts blowing up. I'm going to have to learn from you guys since I'm a Gen Xer, not familiar with all this stuff. But, well, let's hear from each one. Nick, please go first. Any final thoughts?
No crazy final thoughts. If you have any questions at all about Japan, easiest way to reach us is probably our DMs on Instagram, like Mark was just saying. I'm sorry for all the people that ask us questions on Facebook. I go on once every 2 weeks and answer everything I can. But Instagram's kind of like the hub. Definitely subscribe to our Substack, free information weekly. We just started a new issue every Friday. It's called the Bento Box. We put 3 houses that we like in different areas of Japan. And no, thanks for having me. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, and Derek, close it out, please.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I guess the one thing that I would tell people who want to buy a house in Japan, because we talk to a lot of people, is do your homework on learning some Japanese, meet your neighbors, and, this is their home. So go there and listen to them, treat it with respect. That's important. And
Very good advice.
I would say all our clients are these type of people, because I think most people who want to buy a house in Japan really do respect Japan. But it's just something I like to say.
Well, that's terrific advice. That's great. You guys are going to continue to be very successful. And I'm not surprised to see how successful you've been in the past 9 months since we last talked. Well, we're going to have to check in again with you at some point.
Yeah,
we could
we'll
do
get you
maybe
a
a live
time.
one in Miyazaki.
Oh,
true.
there we
That would be fun.
Okay, let's do that. That's a great idea. Okay, let's do that. On the
Couple
beach.
cocktails on the beach.
Now we're talking. Okay, let's do that. All right, I'm going to hold you to that. So everyone, thank you again for joining, and we will sign off. But gentlemen, have a good rest of your day. I'm just starting my day. It's still 7 o'clock in the morning. All right.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
お疲れ様でした。
Thanks for watching and or listening to another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts on Real Gaijin. Tell us what you think and be sure to tune in again next time.
Woo!